Hi students, my name is Vivian, and in this video I will provide you with an overview of the materials that we will use in class. You can find the materials list in Canvas under the Files tab. So I would like to go in order on the list. First, you will need a drawing board, and it looks like this. It's made out of masonite and it has clips, so it's very convenient to use. The drawing paper I recommend is Strathmore paper 400 series, and it measures 18 by 24 inches. It is very good for dry media, and especially for the materials that we will be using that focus on graphite and charcoal. For the first few weeks, we will be drawing with pencil or graphite. And we will be starting with this material because it is the most basic drawing tool. It's really great for exploring line quality, form, and structure. It's really good for producing detailed work because you have a high level of control with a pencil. What you should know about drawing pencils is that they have a specialized numbering system. Anything ending in an H is hard and light. Anything ending in a B is dark and soft. And the higher the number, the more extreme it is on both ends of the spectrum. So for example, a 6B is going to be darker and softer than a 4B. So on the list, I've specified at least 4 kinds of pencils in HB, 2B, 4B, and 6B. It might actually be less expensive for you to buy a pencil set, but see what is most convenient for you. When I begin sketching, the pencil that I like to start drawing with is an HB because it's not too light and it's not too dark, and I can control it easily. I should mention that you will need a sharpener for your pencils. So any standard sharpener will be good for that purpose. This is an example of a finished graphite drawing. In the coming weeks, we will work toward this goal of producing a finished graphite study. There are 2 main kinds of erasers that I recommend for this class. The kneaded eraser, which has a gum-like consistency. It works for both graphite and charcoal, and then the vinyl eraser. The kneaded eraser is great because you can kind of shape it and you can use it to pull out specific shapes of highlight. While the vinyl eraser is a bit tougher, and it's really good if you need to eliminate large sections of material in order to make it lighter. Although it's not listed on the materials list, you could also consider purchasing some polymer eraser caps, which are good for eliminating small areas of material. Charcoal medium. So to begin any charcoal drawing, I highly recommend working with soft or medium willow charcoal. If you go to the store, you will see that it is labeled either willow or vine. So the only difference is that it's made from a different source. The vine charcoal is a little lighter or grayish, and this is why I recommend the willow charcoal, which is naturally darker. So the reason why we start drawing with this material is because it's very soft, it's very easy to manipulate and erase if needed. Once you work with your willow charcoal to a very good degree, once you reach the latter stages of your drawing, it's important to include some very rich darks. And this can be achieved with compressed charcoal. So compressed charcoal is different than what we looked at before because it has a binder. Because it has that binder, it is very difficult to erase. And that's why you want to use it in the latter stages of your drawing once you really know where you're going to include it. So they sell both black compressed charcoal and white compressed charcoal. White charcoal is something you want to use for your highlights, and the black compressed charcoal is something that you want to use for your dark shadows. The charcoal pencils have a very similar consistency to the compressed charcoal. The only difference is that, of course, it comes in pencil form. So again, the pencil is a tool that you want to use in the latter stages of your drawing when you're ready to kind of finish it up. It's really good for producing detail, and here's an example of that with this bird drawing. The charcoal pencils come in black charcoal and white charcoal. This is an example of a finished charcoal study. It's just to give you an idea of what the material looks like. Now, charcoal can be very messy, and that's why I highly recommend that you buy a small can of workable fixative. We're only going to be working for the next 2 months, so you really don't need that much fixative. There are two kinds of fixative that you can find at the store: workable fixative and final fixative. So the workable fixative is supposed to let you work in case you want to make edits. But really, in my experience, it's really not the same. Once you spray the work, it's kind of harder to change it. So I just recommend the workable fixative for the purpose of adhering the material to your paper, because charcoal has a chalk-like consistency, and if you accidentally touch it, rub up against it, it will change, and it will pick up the material. That's something that you do not want to happen after you invest a lot of time working on your drawing. I do recommend getting some sort of case so you can store your work. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. They sell cases made out of tough paper fibers, such as the one on the left, or they sell cases made out of cloth, such as the one on the right. See what works for you. Because we are working remotely and you will not have to transport your artwork, this is not absolutely necessary, but I do recommend you have some method of storing and protecting your drawings, because it's very important to take care of your work. I highly recommend purchasing some kind of bag or having some kind of box to organize your drawing materials. You just want to have them on hand when you draw. Blending stumps. These are blending stumps, and just as the name says, these are tools for blending. So they usually come in a little bag like this, and you can see what the material does, right? It kind of just softens the mark in order to produce something that looks softer. We'll talk more about mark making techniques as the course moves through. I'm also a fan of using cotton rags to blend areas. So if you have an old t-shirt, or if you have some kind of cotton rags lying around the house, this is also a great tool for blending as well. Toward the end of the term, we will actually look at pen and ink techniques, and that's why I recommend that you buy at least 4 micron pens, the 0.01, 0.03, 0.05, and 0.08. This gives you an example of what the pens can do. You will need a corkback ruler. In the list, I recommend that you purchase a ruler that measures 24 inches. I think 18 or 24 will work, but nothing shorter than that, nothing longer. The following materials are optional, but they are helpful. Artist tape is specialized tape that does not damage the paper, so this helps further secure the paper onto the board. And the scissors, of course, allow you to cut down your paper in case you need to produce a smaller study. And finally, because drawing is naturally messy, I do recommend that you wear clothing that you don't really mind getting dirty as you work. And that's it for the presentation. Please let me know if you have questions. Thank you.